Gran was sure he was coming. So now the three of us have said yes. And if you agree, that'll make all four of us.
Damnation, bloody hell and bollocks.
Sebastian's voice was cross, but he couldn't help it.
I don't want to.
You sound like the whining 6-year-old you used to be. Lucy reached out and touched his arm. Come on, Seb. I don't think Gran's real well, but she won't say what's wrong unless we're all there. So get yourself on your bike and get out there.
All right. I know I'm being difficult, but damn it. I'd rather step into a nest of vipers than in front of the old bat.
I honestly don't know what's got into you, Seb. Gran is a sweetheart.
All right. I said I'll go out there, but I won't be staying.
Chapter 1. The Present. Sebastian leaned his head back on the soft black leather headrest and closed his eyes. The comforting drone of the engines soothed the strange restlessness that had filled him ever since he'd boarded the plane in Rome. Choosing to travel business class from Europe might have been an extravagance, but hey, he'd worked hard for the past 2 years. His destination was a long way from the luxury apartment he'd shared in Florence. Spending some of his savings on making the long flight back to Sydney more comfortable had been a no-brainer. If he had to spend time back at the farm, he would have a comfortable trip getting there. How long would he be there? A few months? A few years? Sebastian still hadn't gotten his head around the fact that he was going home. A long while. The rest of my life? Springdowns was good enough for his cousins, and now it was time for him to do the right thing by his family. Since Gran had called them all home 2 years back, Lucy, Liam, and Jemima had taken their turns and gone home to Springdowns to look after their grandparents' farm. One by one, they decided to settle in the Pilliga scrub where they'd grown up. And when he'd come home to the Outback for a visit, not that it had been very often, their contentment had surprised him. Maybe he was even a little bit jealous. If the truth be known, watching the 3 people he was closest to fall in love and settle happily with their respective partners had left him a little bit hollow and lonely. And that was way out of character for him. Love 'em and leave 'em Seb was the nickname given to him by his colleagues in the business. Somehow, Liam had gotten wind of that nickname back home, probably from Lucy. When Seb and Lucy had worked together at the advertising agency in Sydney. Of course, it had gone through the family, and Gran had shaken her head and tutted about it when he'd visited. So he had a reputation as a bit of a playboy. Let them think what they liked. He enjoyed life, and he knew he could make a go of whatever the Outback threw at him. But he hadn't gone home very often. He knew he was a disappointment to his family, but that was their problem, not his. Gran kept going on about how lucky he was. What a great life Seb has. Sebastian has an easy job, she told everyone. Clicking away and taking photos was a breeze compared to the hot, dry work in the paddocks at Prickle Creek farm.
He is so lucky, Gran would say. Not to mention, they pay him a ridiculous amount of money to swan around the world.
Well, it was time to come home and prove that he could work as hard as the rest of the family. Sebastian shook his head and reached for the glass of fizzy water that the air steward placed on the tray beside him. Whoever would have thought that a graphic designer, a journalist, and an internet